Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are doing something a little bit different today, and this is because I brought it up in one of my previous videos and a couple of you commented saying that you wanted to know. You wanted to see what I wear for work and what the regulations say. Today we are going to do how I do my makeup for the Navy in uniform based off of the Navy regulations that they put for uniform standards. This in no way is sponsored by the Navy. This is my personal opinion. This is how I interpret the regulations, and I talk about it in a little bit, but I'm on leave, so my nails are not in regulations, but my makeup is what I wear on a daily basis. Before we jump into it, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for notifications of new videos, and if you like this video, make sure you give a big thumbs up. But if you want to see how I got this look and how it is in line with the Navy's uniform regulations, just keep watching. Okay, you guys, so I had brought this up in one of my videos about possibly doing a military makeup video, and this isn't all military branches. This is just exclusively Navy because that is what I have had to deal with for the last almost 19 years. June 10th of this year will be 19 years active duty in the United States Navy, but we have uniform instructions and regulations that we have to follow. Now, I've brought it up in previous videos when I'm talking about neutral palettes and that I have to keep my makeup neutral. Everyone's like, what does she do? So I've talked about it briefly, but I haven't really gone into depth on it. And I have a couple of friends who are also active duty military. They're like, can you do this video? This is my interpretations. By no means is this what the Navy has backed on this. This is just me reading you what the instruction states and how I've interpreted it. Now, I can tell you right now from looking at sailors in the fleet, they interpret it very differently sometimes, and you just have to go back to the fine print. I will make sure it's popped up on one of the corners so you can see it, but this is from the Navy's uniform app that they have. They also have it on a website so you can go and check it out, and they have regulations on nails, which I'm currently on vacation or leave from the Navy while I transfer, so mine are not within regulation. There's also regulations on jewelry. There's regulations on hair. I've always had my hair in a bun since I came in 2004, and we've relaxed our policies a little bit where you can have a ponytail, but only 3 inches from the end, or 3 inches from the fastener or the elastic. I don't like the ponytail in uniform. That's my preference. But when it comes to cosmetics or makeup, it states, cosmetics may be applied so that colors blend and enhance natural features. Exaggerated cosmetic styles are not authorized with the uniform and shall not be worn. Care should be taken to avoid an artificial appearance. Lipstick colors shall be conservative and present a complementary appearance. Long false eyelashes shall not be worn when in uniform. So I personally don't use false eyelashes. I don't see a point. When I wear mascara, my eyelashes are very full and voluminous, but I know going and doing my job on a daily, I don't want to have to be fidgeting with false eyelashes, so that's my personal preference. Now, one of the things it doesn't state in the actual cosmetics regulation, and this is a screenshot from the app, it's not until you go into the information for cosmetic permanent makeup when it starts talking about eyeliner, and that you'll get different opinions from people who don't wear makeup to those that do wear makeup. It is not until you go into the cosmetic permanent makeup that it says anything about eyeliner and where it starts and stops. Now let me see. So when you're talking about cosmetic permanent makeup, it's authorized for eyebrows, eyeliner, lipstick, and lip liner only. Permanent makeup shall blend naturally to enhance a natural appearance. Exaggerated cosmetic styles are not authorized and shall not be obtained. Approved permanent makeup colors are as follows. Eyebrows shall be shades of black, brown, blonde, or red that matches the individual's natural hair color. Eyeliner shall be shades of black, brown, blue, or green that matches the individual's natural eye color and shall not extend past the natural corner of the eye. The natural corner. So when I do my eyeliner, I'm going to show you guys how I do my eyeliner, where I start at the corner and I bring it up in order to get the rest of my shape. But if I go off of the permanent makeup regulation for eyeliner, I'm authorized to wear green because my eyes are hazel. Come on, guys. Like I said, this is up to interpretation. Lip liner and lipstick shall be the color of the natural lip or shades of pink and moderate reds only. Permanent makeup is considered an elective medical procedure. We don't need to go into the rest of this. I don't have permanent makeup. I change my makeup so often and frequently outside of military uniform that I can't get behind permanent makeup. I don't mind tattoos. I mean, I've got them on my arm. Don't know how I feel about needles in my face. That's preference though. There are some palettes that I use predominantly for work. The one that I reach for the most is the Fuda Beauty Rose Quartz. And I only use 3 shades in here. So I use these 2 and then this one right here. And that's what we're gonna do today. If you guys want my top neutral palettes, let me know. I've been putting together some of my favorite ones that I reach for work, and I think it might be an interesting top 20 neutral palettes and then top 20 colorful palettes that I use when I'm not in uniform. But yeah, this video could be very long-winded. So I'm gonna jump into this and start. All right, one of my favorites is the P. Louise base, and then I've also been using the Luxaza eye primer since I got it. This one is clear, so it will still show some of my lines and everything. Because I'm going with a more neutral eyeshadow look because of uniforms, I'm going to use my P. Louise because this cancels out all the lines that are going to show through my light neutral shades. Everything that I use that I don't really discuss on camera will also be linked below. Definitely check the drop down box because I have been linking from most of my videos, the additional products I use. For my daily makeup, I tend to stick with just my fluffy crease brush because I don't want anything super pigmented and deep. First shade I'm going to go into is Gratitude. This one I put into the crease in the outer V just to kind of give us our base color. Most of the makeup that I do is light pinks and tans. I might do a little bit deeper of a brown just to give some shadowing, but you saw in the instruction that it has to be blended out so it looks natural. Hence why I tend to do a lot of fluffy crease brushes and it'll blend into my skin. And like I said, I'm on vacation right now, but I know that I wanted to film this video just because I do get asked for it a lot, but I do have errands to run today, so. Next I'm gonna go into the shade Aura. Also on my fluffy crease brush, because like I said, I don't want it to be super concentrated. I'm just gonna place it right here towards the center and the outer V. It does deepen up a little bit. It is a little bit on the redder side, but I tend to get lots of compliments on my makeup. This is the deeper of the pinks that I might use, whereas I have some that are just bubblegum pinky. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day. And then the other thing is with having a tan, the shades that I use are a little bit different than what I was using a year and a half ago when I was super pale. Especially when I was in RDC. I wanted the quickest makeup, get it done in 10 minutes, out the door, on the road because I had a 20-minute drive and I had to wake the recruits up at 6 a.m. Means I was getting up at 3:30 to get ready because I was still wearing a full face of makeup. Everyone's like, why? Why would you do that? Because that's how I prefer to do my things. I like to have makeup on. I feel better. I feel like I look more awake. Without makeup, I feel like I look sad and tired. And then going into the shade Self Love. I know in the pan it looks crazy because it's a marbled effect, but I just picked this shade up on my ring finger and it's just kind of a champagne-y pink right here in the center. So the other thing that it does not say, and it doesn't say it until you look at the information for fingernails and the nail colors that you're authorized to have, nowhere in it does it say for your makeup that you cannot have glitter. Do I think I should be wearing glitter to work in uniform? Probably not. Shimmers, I'll still wear them because they have a different effect and this doesn't have chunky glitter, but it's when you look at the fingernail instruction that it says you cannot have glitter for your nail color. It actually says you can't have hot pink, blue, green, specific colors you're not allowed to have because our uniforms now are an avocado green and people were showing up because they're well, it matches my uniform. I'm gonna go back into Gratitude, which was the lightest shade, and just right here, blend it to bring the shimmer back from the outer corner. And then into Aura, which was the darker shade, just on the edge. But like I said, I keep everything pretty soft when it comes to going to work in a uniform. One of the neutral palettes that I use in like the tan and brown shades, this is the ColourPop Roaring Hearts. It just happens to be on my table, and I used this last week before I went on leave. But it's all like the brown neutral shades. So I would use this shade right here and then this shade just to deepen up a little bit of shading. There are some shimmers in here, but like this white has like a gold underhue. So I would use this champagne-y gold shade. But even then, that's a little bit darker than I tend to use. I like to use like the light pink and the champagne shades just to give some depth and dimension. Now, for primer, I'm using the NYX Plump Right Back. This has the electrolytes mix in it. I really like this. It's just a jelly consistency, and I love the air pump because it pushes everything up. And then I'm also going to use my Tarte Timeless for my pores and my lines on my forehead. So the other thing is, because I'm on a ship and we don't really have windows and we don't open all the doors up to let fresh air in because it's recycled air, I tend to use a more hydrating primer for work just because my skin can dry out being in the recycled air. And then even the foundation that I use, it's not like full coverage. When I was in RDC, I was using a full coverage because you're not supposed to work out with makeup on. But I wasn't taking my makeup off, working out with them, and then reapplying my makeup. So I would just run 3 miles, mile and a half with full face of makeup on, and it would last. Do I think it's good for your skin? No, because your skin's heating up, your pores are opening up, and it's just taking in all of that product. It could clog your pores. That's why skincare and facials are really important when you're doing stuff like that, when you're wearing heavy makeup. But now that my work hours are 8 to 9 hours, they're not normal hours. We start work like 7:15, and then we might work, I'm not gonna say what time I leave. Some people are gonna be mad at me for that. But they're a little more structured, and I'm not wearing my makeup for 24 hours while I'm training recruits. All right, so I'm using the List Triple Fix Serum Foundation. This has HA, turmeric, and ashwagandha. It's cruelty-free, vegan, and gluten-free. So I have it in shade TN3. I like this because it's not super heavy, and that's one of the things when I'm wearing it to work. I don't want it to be like super caked on. I want it to be breathable, and I just want it to look natural. And I also need something that's going to cover my natural redness. So just one coat on this side. That was like one pump, and it is so nice. It just feels so weightless. And especially, like, I'm 38, so I hate the word mature skin, but no one wants their makeup to look and make them look older than they really are. Teenagers might do it because they want to feel older, but don't rush the process. There are so many days where I'm like, man, I wish I was back in high school at the football games, just hanging out with all my friends. No responsibility, no bills. It evens so well, blends out. The blendability is there. Now the next steps, you might be like, I thought they said natural. Okay, well, your face naturally has depth and dimension. So contouring I will still do, but I don't do it super heavy. Just enough to like see that there's natural shadowing. And make sure to take your foundation down your neck. It doesn't just stop at your jawline. And into the hairline, because once I'm done with my makeup, I actually go into the bathroom and I'll wet my hair down again just to like reactivate the hair gel that I have. This I absolutely love. It looks like my skin just evened out. It's such a nice foundation. I am going to contour. I'm using the Milk Makeup Sculpt Stick, This is in the shade Stoked. I just go above where the natural line is. I don't know if you can see it, but I know where it's at. So it's just right here. I don't bring it all the way forward. And then my angled contour brush. Don't forget to take it backwards into the hairline. Otherwise you just have a weird like demarcation. See, and it just finesses in. Get rid of that harsh line. I'll go back and just kind of like even like overlapping where I didn't put it to have like a blurred edge but still kind of defined is not a bad thing. This makeup process, when I'm not talking through it and explaining to anyone, takes me about 10-15 minutes because I want something quick, easy, and out the door. For powder, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. I like this because it will blur out whatever pores didn't get blurred with my primer. And then it just sets everything. Even being oily, I'll be less of a grease ball at the end of the day than if I don't use it. I have a couple others that I like to use, like the Laura Mercier, but this one I will use quite a bit in the summer. And I have it in shade Pound Cake. For concealer, I'm using the Liss Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. I have it in the shade MN1, and it is a really nice, thin consistency. I like it also because it does not crease. I don't have any issues with it just looking creasy and like a mess. So with concealer, without. And you can see it's pretty much smoothed out. No matter what, I'm going to have creases under my eyes. That's just natural progression, but it still will tame them. Whereas I haven't put any concealer on and you can see where my longer creases are and they just kind of blend it out here. When I go to powder, such a difference. And I've been using the Beauty Blender powder puff. This one, so nice. And then the foundation, like this here in this area, I tend to get the foundation that falls into that line. I don't have that issue. Or the lines around my mouth, because it is such a nice fluid foundation. Or even like up here in my brow area. It's a little warm with the lights on. This combo for work though, because the serum foundation and the concealer are so lightweight, it just, my skin looks like my skin and I can see some of my spots shining through, which is fine. My makeup is supposed to be looking natural, right? So if I had a huge like work event, a formal night or whatever, I'm gonna probably use a little bit, I don't know, full coverage. That is a buildable foundation, but I didn't go in with two rounds. I just did one layer of the foundation and then same thing with the concealer. So I like how my skin looks with those products. Now we need to finish off the eyes. I do a little bit underneath the eye and I do the lightest shade because I don't want it to be red under the eye because that looks weird. I'm gonna go into the shade Gratitude. This is the lightest shade, and just on my pencil brush, I'll place it and then I'll blend it out. Nothing too crazy. Very simple, neutral, pinky, and girly and feminine, because otherwise we all look the same in a uniform and my makeup is really one of the few self-expressions that I have. Now for bronzer, I do bronze up a little bit. I'm using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It's one of my lighter bronzer shades because like I said, I don't need anything super dramatic and I just go in gently just to give a little bit of definition because naturally our skin has shadows. Like I said, nothing too crazy. It barely looks like I put bronzer on, but it has a little bit of definition. I can see the difference just like through here. One of the things that they just recently changed was actually our earrings. For the longest time, it was just a gold or silver 2mm to 6mm ball. And they just changed it to where we can have pearls or diamonds. And then it didn't matter if you were E7 and above or officer, you could have gold in even if you were E6 and below, which that used to be just reserved for chiefs and above or officers. I don't know. I like having a small diamond. It doesn't have to be real because what happens when I lose them? But a cubic zirconia? Absolutely. All right, blush. I've got the Orgasm from NARS. This is one of my favorites. Hence why I have like the Monster Jumbo size. This just has like a natural sheen. If you go in heavy-handed, it can look crazy. I'll do like 2 dabs and then onto the cheeks and build slightly. I don't want anything too crazy. Like I'll wear peachy pinky shades, vice like my more red shades. Just a slight flush. So some people before I got to the command, my junior sailors, had actually found my YouTube channel. I was like, that's weird because my last name is not on there. I'm not sure how you found my YouTube, but I think it's funny when they do find my YouTube and they're like, I saw your most recent video. Never talk about it. I don't advertise it. We're all on technology and computers and social media, but it started as a hobby in 2018 when I was up in Great Lakes. I still have fun doing it. Just a little slight flush. For inner corner, brow bone, and highlight, I have my Revlon Skin Lights. This is the dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy one. I love this one. If you can find it at your drugstore, it is so stunning. Yes, I will still do my nose, but if you notice, I'm not doing a very blinding highlight either. If you look, it is very subdued and it just kind of catches the light. Whereas if you guys have seen my tutorials when I'm just going out with some friends and I'm using like the Cali Ray, which is super blinding, I am still going to use something that's a little more neutral and subdued, and I'm not going to just cake it on just because I want the natural look of highlights. And yes, you're going to be entitled to your opinions, especially if you're military and you do have makeup regulations, or you don't wear makeup at all and you just stumbled upon my tutorial. This is my interpretations of military standards for the Navy. I'd be interested, I haven't looked up other branches uniform regulations on makeup or whatnot, but I'd be interested in, if you want to see that, let me know and I'll interpret the other branches. But this is just my interpretation of the Navy and what I've been wearing for the last 19 years. Now for brows, I try and keep it pretty simple. I've been using the Emily Heath brow powder. I got this off of Flip and I've been loving it because it is so easy. And when you see me do this, because I don't put a lot of effort into it, you're gonna be like, what is she doing? But people seem to think that I spend like 20 minutes just on my brows, and I guess I could, but I don't. It's really the simplest. So right here where it's not really filled in too much, I just go back and forth and just where the natural line is. You don't have to be super precise, and they'll start blending up. See the difference? Just deepening it up a little bit, ever so slightly. I've also used it's like a dual-ended from Benefit that has brow powder. That one's also really good too. I dip back in one more time. This is where I'll start to define my arch out here. Not when I first go in because it will be very dark and heavy. I just want the edges to be a little muted. Same thing with my tail. Needs to be a little more defined. And then just flick it up so it can kind of fill in different areas wherever it might not have been dispersed. With brow powder, without. A little more defined, a little bit closer to my hair color. I'll use like the Kosas Air Brow or the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Fix. Something to just kind of keep them in place. And I'll actually drag back so that all of the hairs kind of have stuff, and then flick it through. See, that kind of helped it because it fluffed them up, whereas some of them were trying to like lay down and I wasn't feeling it. So I always drag backwards to make them stand up and then flick through to just kind of tame them a little bit. And then eyeliner, because I want it to last, KVD Cake Pencil. This goes in the waterline. And you saw with eyeliner it said black, brown, green, or blue. I still wear black, even though my natural eye color is hazel, and I could probably, should I be wearing green eyeliner? Probably not. That is where the interpretation is kind of like wonky. I always wear black eyeliner. I have since I was in middle school, high school. It's always been black eyeliner. I've tried white, neutral, colored eyeliner. It's just not my thing. For my eyeliner, so I tend to use like the ColourPop BFF liquid liner. This one's a good one. Or I have the Kaja Wink stamp. I don't use the stamp when it comes to work. I tried. They're just not my favorite when I'm in a rush. There's quite a few that I have. Even the KVD ink liner. There's some good options. I have a lot of them. But I just, with my handy dandy liquid eyeliner, like I said, from the end of the natural eye, I go to the outer corner. I just draw up. That gives me an idea of where I need to start my wing. And I say wing, there's not gonna be a wing because it just ends at my natural eye. But then, I can't really talk through this. So to get my corner, you're gonna see that I go a little bit above it just to get the angle that I need. Now I'll fill it in. So we've got our angle on this side, just up and over here. So now that I've got this end and this end, and I might have to finesse this one a little bit more when I turn the camera off, because the reality is I never get my liner perfect when I'm on camera with you guys. Now to do the rest of this, I will piece it together. I don't just do one long swoop. It never works out that way. I think my liner is starting to die, and I'll go. And we've got liner. Let me go do this one. I'll be back for mascara. Now, mascara, I've got plenty of options. Honestly, I could pick any of them. Merit is a really good one. Kind of, I wouldn't say natural. It's just, it's a good, simple mascara. One of the things that I'll definitely do is curl my eyelashes. Not all mascaras will curl eyelashes. Some are lengthening, some are volumizing. It just depends. We'll do the Merit one. This one is the lengthening mascara from Merit. It is a nice mascara. I've used it in the past. And it's one of those that is definitely buildable. One coat with the lashes. I usually do two, but like I said, they don't need to be overly dramatic for work. Now, even though it is makeup I've done for work, I still want it to last. So I have a couple different options. The one that I have on my table right now, and this is definitely for like the sweaty days, the Moira Oil Control Makeup Setting Spray. Shake it up a little bit. Definitely in the center because that is where my oiliness is the most. And then I'll just press it in. For lips, and I tend to keep these on my table back here. I have the Maybelline Lifter ones. I also have the Fenty Gloss Bombs. Really like those, as well as the Lawless Forget the Filler. Absolutely love those lip glosses. And if you are here for my declutter, you know there's a lot of lip glosses in the collection. I usually grab a lip gloss that has no glitter in it. This is the Lifter Gloss in Reef 006. It is just a pale pink shade, like they said, natural lip color. Okay, you guys, I'm back and this is the final look. I did go to the restroom and dampen down my hair and reactivate the gel just to get the full effect. But this is what I interpret from the Navy uniform regulations as far as cosmetics and makeup are concerned. I don't get in trouble for my makeup. When I first came in the Navy and I was interpreting, I did get in trouble a couple of times because I used an eyeshadow that in my barracks room looked appropriate, and then when I was out in the sun it looked completely different. So I have definitely tried out some different things over the years, found what I like, and I kind of stick to those things so that I'm not out of regulation, especially being senior leadership and trying to enforce those same standards. Doesn't make sense. But this is how I interpret the makeup standards as the Navy regulations have put out for us. And like I said in the beginning, I was explaining to you what they say, and then it's very vague in some concepts of it. But let me know if you guys have any questions, thoughts, concerns, put them down below. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say. But that is it for this look. Before you guys leave though, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell for notifications of new videos, and if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Until my next video, you guys, bye. I'll see you in the next one.